Here's how I'll be using my 2025 Hobonichi Cousin as a functional planner to stay organized and productive while also incorporating simple creative elements to make it look cute. If you weren't sure how to use all the pages in your planner, I hope this video gives you some ideas because this system has worked wonders for me in 2024 and I'll only be tweaking it just a little bit in the next year. And in this video, I will share with you what I was looking for in a planner, and then I will talk you through how I'll be using each layout in my Hobonichi Cousin. And in my next video, I will show you my top favorite spreads from my 2024 Hobonichi Cousin to give you more specific ideas on how to decorate your planner and how to use the different layouts and the different pages. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Seppi and I share with you the tools and strategies you need to help you discover what you truly want in life and to be able to make sustainable change through small, simple steps that feel manageable and aligned with who you are. And one of the tools that has helped me in my journey has been my journals and planners, which is why I love sharing these videos with you and why I'm so happy that you're here. So let's get into it. So before getting the Hobonichi Cousin, I first looked at my needs when it comes to a planner. So this will help you think through a little bit more what your needs are, whether the Hobonichi Cousin is right for you or not. So one of the things for me was to keep track of my appointments and birthdays in the month ahead. It was also to be able to adjust my weekly schedule depending on how busy it was, making sure I have space for self-care and downtime, managing my life and my business goals and my health goals, being able to organize my weeks as well as my days because I have a full-time job as well as a business on the side, being able to track my habits. That way I make sure that I'm very mindful and intentional of the habits that I'm incorporating into my daily life. I also want to have the space to be able to write down different ideas, do different brain dumps, or write anything that I needed to just because I enjoy putting pen to paper and putting down my thoughts. So that's been very helpful as well. And of course, I think probably maybe most importantly, I want to enjoy the art of planning, but also incorporating small, easy, decorative, and creative elements, which we will look at a little bit more in my next video. But that was an important factor for me in terms of the size of the planner that I ended up getting and how I've been using it moving forward. This is a system that I nailed down after using my Hobonichi Cousin for about 1.5 years, and I have loved it ever since. I love coming into my planner every single day to organize my brain, to organize my life. And my biggest tip for you is to think through your needs when it comes to your planner. What do you need to organize better in your life? What areas of your life do you struggle with? Is it your habits, staying organized, staying productive? How much time do you realistically have to spend in your planner every single day? These questions will help you figure out the best planner for you and as well create a system that works for your lifestyle and your needs. If you want help to think through your journal and planner system, I have a separate video where I walk you through a logical sequence of questions to help you figure out a system that works for you. So if you want to check that out, I will leave the information for you. Let's move on to my 2025 Hobonichi Cousin because I finally set it up yesterday and I feel quite excited about it. I will be showing you a little bit of the 2024 Hobonichi Cousin to show you a little bit more of what I'm talking about, but then showing you the 2025 layout. It's not that different, but I still wanted to show you. So the first element that was really important for me is to continue incorporating my habits tracker in my Hobonichi Cousin. So I use the year at a glance for this. In the past, I had used it for birthdays and appointments, but it kind of became redundant. So in the end, I decided to put it in here because I like having everything in one spot. Since I use my planner all day, every day, it's a lot easier for me to refer back to my habits for the month and to keep myself on track. So when I do my weekly planning or my daily planning, I'm able to easily flip back and forth, look at my habits tracker at the end of the day to track my habits or to be able to track what are the habits that I didn't do last week or the day before. That way, when I'm doing my daily planning, I can incorporate that a lot more easily and be a lot more mindful of the habits that I'm incorporating every single day. So that was the first thing that I really wanted to continue doing in my Hobonichi Cousin. So as you can see here, I'm not putting in anything yet because I want to set my goals for the year first, and then every single month during my monthly planning process, That's where I sit down and figure out what are the habits that I want to focus on during the month ahead, because your habits change with your needs. So I find that every single month and even every single week, it's good to reflect to make sure how can you adapt your habits to support the life that you're trying to create. So this year it has worked wonders. At the end of the month, I would end up falling off the bandwagon, but overall I've been able to keep up with it, and I've absolutely loved using this spread for my habits tracker. The second thing that I really wanted to keep doing in my Hobonichi Cousin is using the monthly overview where I add birthdays, appointments, events, paydays, my cycle. This helps me adjust my schedule when I do my weekly planning, because I always look at my monthly overview to get an idea of how busy things are. That way I can adjust my weekly schedule accordingly. If I know that I have a busy week, then I can see where I can create more downtime, for example. Or if I know that I'll be getting my period, I try to schedule less things during that time or that weekend to make sure I have the space to take care of myself and prioritize my health. This is key in helping me be more intentional with how I live, so that I can be more mindful of my needs and my health. And it has worked really great in my 2024 Hobonichi Cousin. I really like how it looked. I do a very simple setup where I'll put a little dot for birthdays. I put a little dot in the same color. So I color code the birthdays in one color and appointments in another. And then if I have a payday, I put a little dollar sign. Really, really simple, nothing complicated. The one difference this year is that I've already added the stickers. I got this monthly kit from the Coffee Monsters Co. So I already added a little bit of decoration. That way I avoided having to do the full setup every single month. I'm trying to find ways to be more efficient with my time, and I think that's going to cut back a little bit of time. I can add more if I want to, but at least the basic is done. That way I can just have to come in, plug in any appointments that I have, any birthdays that are coming up. I also use my phone with a digital calendar where I put in appointments if I'm on the go, and then I have a habit of pulling that up and adding it in by hand in my planner. And that's how it's going to be moving forward, continuing and just planning ahead a little bit in terms of setting up a basic setup for the different pages, just to make my planning process a little bit more smooth. Moving on to the weekly pages, I will be continuing the same thing. And one addition this year has been to prepare the pages ahead of time. So when I sit down and do my monthly planning, doing the monthly spread, I also go in and prepare the pages for the 4 weeks in my weekly pages, just to make it more simple on Sunday to sit down, plan out my week. I also have been using the same theme throughout the month. So if one month I use a certain color scheme, a certain washi tape, I do the same thing throughout the month, because this makes me being able to use my stationery a lot more. Makes it a lot easier for me to just sit down and decorate. That way it's very simple, it's very easy, it's very quick, but it adds just enough of a beautiful little creative touch for me to be able to enjoy it. So every single Sunday, what I do, I sit down and plan the week ahead. I write down appointments, things that I have to get done, days I'm going to the office, and anything else that's relevant. I put it into the weekly overview. I have a to-do list here. If there's anything that I know I have to get done during the week, I put it down at the bottom here as well. It's very simple, very straightforward. It's in a way minimalist, because it's strictly for planning with a little bit of creativity. But again, that's the whole point of my Hobonichi Cousin. I was able to think through my needs and what I wanted to use this planner for, and that is why I'm going to be continuing doing the same, and I will theme the same way. If I use, let's say, browns and brown highlighter and brown pen in my monthly overview, I will be doing the same in the weekly spreads as well as the daily spreads, just to keep it a little bit more cohesive and remove a little bit of the thought process behind it. Keeps things a lot more simple, a lot more straightforward. My weekly spread is the basis of what I use for my daily planning, which the daily pages is where I spend the bulk of my time, because this is where I organize my to-do list for life and for my business. And I also add a little bit more of a detailed self-care list of habits that I think will be helpful to practice depending on the day and how I'm feeling. Then I'm able to split up the day into 3. That way I can kind of compartmentalize my brain a little bit more to focus on the first third of the day day, the afternoon, and then the evening. I tend to have a lot on my list because, like I said, I have a full-time job, I have a business, and I try to be very intentional with my habits. Therefore, I really need, I try to do a lot in a day. So one thing that helps me is A, compartmentalizing everything in 3 days, and B, trying to focus on the next 3 tasks instead of looking at the whole day, because that can sometimes feel more overwhelming. I don't generally plan out my weekends the same way. So what I do is that I have a general to-do list for the weekend. That way I can stay on top of things that I need to get done, but I can just kind of be a little bit more free with my schedule to allow for more downtime, more free time, etc. And one thing that I've added as well is doing a weekly recap, which I really enjoy doing, which is where I write down good memories or small moments that I want to remember from the previous week, and then the to-dos like I just mentioned. Another thing that I've been doing is, like I said, one of the things that I needed from my planner is to have space to be able to do a brain dump. In the past, if you have seen my recap of my journal and planner system, I felt like I've had too many different journals, and pulling out different journals and whatnot just became a little bit too overwhelming. Therefore, I want to consolidate a little bit more, have the space to do my brain dump in my planner. That way I can easily refer back to things and it's just all in one place. So that's been what I've been doing, and I've really enjoyed it a lot. Not only is everything in one so I can easily flip back to my brain dumps, but at the same time it also makes me feel as though I'm more making use of all of the pages of my Hobonichi Cousin, because it is a bit of a pricier planner, and being able to make use of all the pages makes me feel as though I'm enjoying the product a lot more and my money's going a lot farther in terms of the investment. I have a more detailed plan with me video where I show you how I do my monthly, my weekly, and my daily pages. If you're interested in watching that, you can watch the full playlist. I've shared with you more of my process and more in depth. If you're familiar with the Hobonichi Cousin, then you know that every single month there is a blank page at the front, which people use for different things. I've seen mood boards or vision boards, which I think is beautiful, but I do that in my bullet journal. And I always felt that this page would go to waste. So what I decided to do maybe at the middle of last year is this is where I'm going to put all the life admin tasks that I want to get done throughout the month. This is also a way to keep it accessible. So when I'm doing my weekly or planning process, I can easily flip back and forth to see what is on the list and if I can get anything done that day or that week. That way I can be a lot more intentional with all those little tasks. You know, those tasks that you just procrastinate on, that you don't get done, but I need to get done, then they accumulate and then you procrastinate even more. Yeah, that's what that is. And honestly, having it written down is really helpful. One thing that I am going to be changing is to have a master list at the end of my planner. So that's something different, because the end of the pages of my 2024 Hobonichi Cousin were kind of a mishmash of random things. I never actually looked at them. So one thing I'm going to add is a master life admin page. So this is where I'm going to consolidate a little bit of everything I want to get done this year, any repairs in the house, or like getting my pants hemmed, going to the optometrist, etc. Just having a master list here. That way at the beginning of the month, when I'm doing my monthly planning, I can revert back to this master list and also be able to organize what are going to be the priorities that I want to tackle this month. So as you can tell by now, my planner is definitely a tool that I use to not only be productive, but also be a lot more intentional with how I'm living every day. And one thing that's been really important to me is to be cycle syncing. And a trick that I will share with you to stay on top of your habits, if you haven't been able to stay on track and to stay on track with the changes you want to make, is to make things simple. If there are things that you can do ahead of time to prepare or do, that way you just have to show up and practice a habit, then that's how I want you to start looking at your habits and changes that you're trying to make. Remove any barriers that are stopping you from doing something. So for example, for myself, like I just mentioned, cycle syncing is something really important. I have endometriosis, so I'm really trying to manage my hormones in a more holistic way. That means being more mindful of my nutrition, how I'm managing my stress level, etc. as the month progresses through my cycle. And another thing is nutrition. So one thing that I have that I was going to add into my 2025 Hobonichi Cousin, but unfortunately the printout didn't work. It's not the right size, so I have to print it again. But is that I wanted to add this little cheat sheet that I have for my cycle. and I wanted to be able to stick it at the back of my planner. This is accessible in my phone. That way, if I'm on the go and I'm trying to do my groceries, I can build out my grocery list based on the things I should be eating based on my cycle. This is to help me understand my cycle a little bit better, and then I also have a list of the different foods that help me manage my cycle, process the estrogen, etc. So long story short, this is an addition that I'm going to be putting into my Hobonichi Cousin. I just need to get this reprinted. That way it can fit at the back of this and I can refer to it a lot more easily. Something else that I bought in the Hobonichi sale are these little folders to keep at the back, to keep my life and my planner organized. That way, if I have any receipts or any pieces of paper that I need to keep, I can put them in here and leave it at the back of the planner so it stays put a little bit better and I don't have any papers flying around. I'm going to incorporate into my monthly planning to make sure that I check this folder in case there are any documents that I need to be putting away, filing away, etc. Just because when I added this in my planner, I felt as though I have like a lot of receipts in here that I could be putting away, and it's just, I don't like things being messy. So I want to be a little bit more diligent every single month to look at this folder as well, just to stay organized and on top of all the documents and everything in my planner. Although one of the main reasons I love the Hobonichi Cousin is for the size, and it allows me to be able to fit everything that I want in the pages, etc. I still sometimes feel as though I have extra things that I want to write down that doesn't quite fit into the Hobonichi Cousin. So I got these little jot books from the Hobonichi Cousin sale, the Hobonichi sale, sorry. That way they're the exact size of the planner and they can fit at the back if I choose. So it does make it a little bit bulkier. So I don't think I'll actually leave it at the back, but it can stay together very easily. Haven't decided exactly what I'm going to write in it. To be honest, I just really enjoyed this paper, especially when it comes to writing in it. It's a really enjoyable product, so I'm not mad about having more journals, and they're not that thick at all. So I don't have a purpose for them yet. I'm still glad to have them. I know I will figure it out at some point, but if you have any suggestion of what to put in these little jot books, let me know in the comments below. If you want to see my full monthly, weekly, daily planning process, then make sure to watch this playlist where I show you my full process. And in my next video, I will share my favorite spreads from my 2024 Hobonichi Cousin to give you ideas on how to decorate and lay out the different pages of your planner. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and let me know if you have any suggestion of spreads I should be adding to my 2025 Hobonichi Cousin. Thank you so much for watching. I'm sending you a lot of love. Bye for now.